Quick note, this is Call of Juarez, not Call of Juarez. Thank you. Call of Juarez is probably a game you've heard of and associate with benchmarking graphics cards. I was in the same situation last year when I bought a super fast new PC. I needed a game to run on it to prove to myself that it was worth upgrading, and I decided to go for Call of Juarez for this reason. Even when I had installed it and was booting it up, I still didn't have a clue what it was about. I heard somewhere that it was a bit like Oblivion. I am usually against reviews which say something along the lines of, "Don't read any further, buy the game or you'll spoil the surprise," mainly because reviews are there to convince you whether or not it's worth buying. However, I'm not sure if you'll experience the same game that I did unless you jump in blindly and take it for what it is. And it is worth getting. If you're looking for a different original game, buy it. I say game, but this is the closest thing to an interactive movie that I've ever seen. The music is great, the graphics is good, but the main thing that hooked me was the storyline. And gameplay, of course. I remember looking at the middling reviews on the Metacritic website, then at the massive 10 out of 10 user ratings, all babbling on about its storyline. What is this madness, I thought. I don't care about the story. Do you know what that is? It's because I've never played a game where the storyline matters before. In this one, it does. Sure, it's one of the most cliched storylines in existence, but it's refreshing to see it implemented into a game. I'm running out of things to say without moving on to spoilers, so I'll sum this game up. It's in a refreshing setting, with cool weapons and gunfights, pathetic creeping bits, awe-inspiring landscapes, and it encourages you to think about what's next and guess what's going to happen. Anybody who is thinking of buying this game, do it now! I mean, it's $4.99 from play.com, including postage. You'll get your money's worth, I promise. Time for the spoilers. Anybody who has fond memories from Deus Ex might understand how I feel. I love this game, yet I wouldn't really be bothered to play it all the way through again. This game is hard. It starts hard and remains at that level. And those first few levels are a chore as you have to escape from the town at the beginning, which is probably the most frustrating quick save, quick load exercise in existence. Oh, and don't forget the embarrassing bedroom scene, which is thrown in just to make sure it puts off every single person playing. Once you tire of the cowboys shouting the same insults at you again and again, you have to endure incredibly long loading screens. You have about 3 paragraphs of text to read, and the loading almost always takes longer than it does for the narrators to read the text. Once you realise that you're playing as the Rev for half the game, you won't really care anymore, as his voice is probably one of the most manly I've ever heard. This game also has a fairly unexpected side to it. If you whip a horse or a dead body, it comes up with a big message telling you to stop or it'll quit your game. Of course, I did it again and my game quit. I mean, this is supposed to discourage violence, but instead it makes it even more fun to try and exploit it, throwing horses off cliffs and stuff. I'm going to hell. Yes, it came as a surprise to me when I was suddenly playing as an old man, preaching in a church. Once the action hots up and you realise he's a retired badass with dual revolvers, you'll be praying for his levels more and more. When Billy, the weakling Hobbit-style character, gets framed for murder and you have to hunt him down, that's when the game starts properly. So, the storyline is this. Half the game is spent creeping through the levels as a weakling, then the same level is replayed as the old man, with slow motion on his side. It may sound boring, but it's very well done and the atmosphere built up is suddenly knocked down in seconds. For instance, Billy, the weakling, meets all of these uber bad guys in the first level, and I was thinking, oh, perhaps they'll pester me all the way throughout the game. Only then you play as the Reverend a couple of minutes later, lodging bullets into all of their skulls. It really gives you a feel for the characters, and makes the inevitable meeting of the two of them even more exciting. These are simply the first 2 levels. You then enter this mine. By the end of this level I was enthralled and couldn't stop playing. I might have just been lucky, but the originality really gripped me and the levels were never a chore. In fact, I think I replayed the mine area as the Rev 4 or 5 times simply for the fun of it. The stakes become increasingly high as the game progresses, as the Rev catches up with Billy and he's within a couple of inches of owning him on more than one occasion. Real effort has gone into this game, and some of the set pieces are really emotional. I could spoil the storyline here, but instead I'll just hop onto some of my favourite bits of the game. There is one level in particular which stands out. It's a kind of dream world, set in a world the size of Oblivion, and you're given a super fast horse to ride about in it. It reminds me of the Hong Kong level in Deus Ex. You could explore this level for weeks and without getting bored. It's completely different to the rest of the game. Those distant mountains can be explored and it really is one of the most relaxing and amazing experiences I've ever encountered in a game. I mean, there's one bit where you have to climb this massive mountain in the middle of a lake. Where else, other than my custom-made Counter-Strike maps, do you have to do that? The slow motion battles are great. The Rev pulls his guns out from his pants and the game slows down, allowing you to twist your body about to take out all the enemies in the next room, barn, field, whatever. You had better do that, as it's a lot more difficult without the slow motion, and any survivors will probably be laughing at how stupid you look, twisting about in the air whilst drawing your guns. I only used the revolvers for the entire game. Who needs shotguns and sniper rifles when a well-placed revolver shot can take down a sniper from 50 paces? There is a kind of boss fight at the end of each level where you draw your guns and have to take them out within a split second. I don't know if these get any harder as the game progresses, but you have to take out 2 of them at one point. But hey, you're an old badass man. You can do it. I don't know why, but inverted mouse settings screw this up a bit. I actually found I had to disable it for these parts, which is really hard for me, but the rest of the game's fine. I could go on. The scenery is beautiful and the characters are really likeable. The rev is especially potent and you form a bond with a grizzled, insane, Bible-wielding badass. Especially when you meet people along the way who comment on your appearance. No, not in that sort of way. I think one mercenary's comment sums it up. Hey, I read about somebody who wore body armour like yours. To look at him was like staring at death. Of course, he must be long gone by now. But he isn't. The subtle side quests the Rev gets caught up in really show off his soft side, as time and time again he is proven wrong about his perceptions of people. Does he finally question his motives? Does he actually kill Billy? You'll just have to play on to find out. And please, don't do what my sister did and look it up online. I haven't played another game which has had such an impact on me, and you would really be missing out. This game holds a special place in my heart. I would consider it above the likes of Half-Life 2 and Deus Ex, even matching Final Fantasy IX and Operation Flashpoint. I can't be bothered to play the game anymore, but it's given me more to look back on nostalgically than any other game I know of. I have made this review to convince people to part with £5 of their money to help these unknown developers. I mean, they made Chrome! Ugh! But don't worry, Call of Juarez is a fantastic game, though I doubt I'll be buying their new game, which looks about the same but with modern weapons. My advice? Get back from work or college, or whatever on a Friday, treat yourself to a couple of bottles of apple cider, and play this game until you complete it, early on in Saturday morning.